happiness that is. Yes. So this is chapter 10. And in the other translation, it reads, yes, indeed. The quote from Revelation, the last book in the Bible, says, yes, indeed, I am coming soon, quoting Jesus. This is written by the apostle, not the apostle that we know as John, but a different John, who scribed, yes, his dreams and his insights concerning the end of time as we know it. And this is significant. This is the last quotation, the second last quotation in the Bible itself, in the New Testament. So Emmanuel quotes him saying, Jesus says, yes, indeed, I am coming soon. Almost always, while human beings are still young, their attitude towards life is that of a child who is unaware of the value of time. They think the days and nights are just too short for their happiness and thrilling adventures. 1,000 enticements of ephemeral illusion obscure the way they see things, and time rushes by in a whirlwind of useless desires. Rare are those who escape such a waste of time. Usually, however, as they or we grow older and their soul has a relative degree of education, they quickly readjust their concept of time. 1 week is just too short to accomplish what they need to do. Whatever their situation, they now understand that the same endeavors are repeated, completely recapitulated at certain months of the year, just like the seasons of winter and summer, of blossoming and fruit bearing in the realm of nature. Then, troubled and anxious, they do all they can to increase their efforts, to fill their time, stretch it out. And most often, at the end of the journey, when death takes them in the midst of their duties or entertainments, they have no chance to make up for the years they have wasted. Therefore, do not allow yourself to be embroiled in the human jungle, unconcerned about your spiritual growth on the eternal pathway. In the next to the last verse of the New Testament, the letter of divine love for humankind, the Lord made this solemn promise to the apostle. Yes, indeed, I am coming soon. So use your time wisely and do not delay your preparation. Yes. So are there any questions about the words that are used or the sentiments that are expressed here?
No.
It's blowing a gale. So this is, of course, another of Emmanuel's recommendations for us to ease our everyday, to step us into a state of consciousness or awareness, helping us to awaken to the importance of time itself. In so doing, I want to ask initially for us to consider time to look at examples of experiences that we have had in regards to time itself and how peculiar it is. And I ask you to share that. Time is peculiar in itself, and that is why I do understand the emphasis that Emmanuel is trying to encourage us to embrace, the importance of taking life seriously and not throwing it to the wind, to be conscious of our everyday and our choices that will soften and ease our pain and suffering as we progress in this lifetime. But in so doing, I do sense there is a need to focus on the issue of time, because he speaks of it so clearly as being vital in our understanding of what our life here on earth is about. So can we share some of our experiences of time that stand out and that almost, yes, give us a very, what is it? It is like it shakes us because we become so impressed by the bendiness of time. Yes, can I say? Yes. I am throwing it out to the floor. Yes.
I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if it's exactly what you're asking, but I sometimes have conversations with my friends about, for example, my age, for example, like our age, and saying like I have clear memory when I was around to complete 15, because in Brazil is a big deal when a girl turns 15. Like here, sweet 16, I guess, but in Brazil it's 15. And like was a party, like a birthday that I was really, really, really looking forward. And I did complete 15 when I was, the year was 2000, like right on the turn of the century, the millennia and everything. And I was like, oh my God, it took so long to get to the 15. And then I was like, oh my gosh, when in the future, when I'm turned 30, will be 2015. And I said, oh my gosh, I cannot see myself that far ahead in the future. And now looking back, after that first, gap of 29, 28, now seems the time is flying. I'm not sure if it's the same for you guys. Colin, you're still young. But now I'm pretty much almost 41 now. And I look back and it's already past 2015. It's already 2025. And I don't feel that took that long to get from the 20s to the 40s, but took so long to get to the 15. And the concept that I went in a blur as well. I'm not too sure if I'm answering your question, but like when you ask me this concept of time and what I did within my time, seems like from my 20s to now was like a blur of things, but a lot happened. But the concept of time really changed, was just too fast. And now we were discussing this a couple of weeks ago, like pretty much we are in the peak of our life now, pretty much, like talking about biology, human usually goes into like 80, 90-ish, that's like if we're really, really healthy and blah, blah, blah. So considering like I'm on the peak of my life. So now it's just halfway, but like on the peak, I'm like, I'm the top. But now it's just down the hill with time because I'm getting older. So yeah, no, when you ask about time, I just remember I had these conversations a couple of weeks ago with friends that we were talking about, when we were young and now how we see the future. And the fun thing, I never saw myself as a young guy. I never saw myself with 40 years old. And the things that not that I planned, but I visualized, it's not the same. I'm not saying I regret or I'm not grateful. I'm pretty grateful where I am, the things that I have, the people that I'm surrounded, but it's not exactly what I picture myself when I was 15. I'm not sure if I answer your question, but that's what I kind of came to the top of my mind.
Brilliant. Yes. That is great. How about you, Angela?
I was going to say that really some years, long time ago, time was passing slowly, but these days is really running very fast. And when I was young, the way of using the time was totally different from these days. These days there are too many distractions, like the media, whatever. Too many distractions for the young people. They really struggle to use time wisely. And the most unfortunate part, that's what I see in the news, is that there are so many bad things out there that very swiftly take the young people away and away from the right path. So yes, the use of time is a choice. And I just realized that these days we really need to be very conscious of what we want to do. Otherwise, it's very easy to disalign.
To get distracted.
Yeah, get distracted.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes. How about you, Louise?
So I'd actually like you to ask the question again, please, because I was coughing and couldn't hear.
So time, what is your experience of how time is, it is not a graspable thing. It is quite bendy, and our experiences with time will differ from moment to moment. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think if you consider nowadays, but by nowadays I mean in this phase of life, this age, my age, in like 20s when you're a young adult, you kind of get to the phase of everything is rushing around, everything has a purpose, everything has a deadline. And contrast that with when you're a kid, when you're 4 and you're standing in the garden and you're completely present with what you're doing in the garden. You have an understanding of what time is, but it doesn't matter. So it's like time has perceived power is what I'm getting at there, I guess.
Yes. I like to think of time and how changeable its perception or how we perceive time when we are doing a test, when we are doing so badly at the written test and we are looking at the clock and it is going so slowly and we are waiting and waiting and waiting for the torture to end. And yet at other times, we are enjoying ourselves and so quickly time passes because we are so engrossed in that moment. We are totally encapsulated by what is presented to us and how we are engaged so brilliantly with it. Time varies, doesn't it? When we are absorbed in something that is extraordinary, like even the computer, when we sit in front of the computer and then we look up and 2 hours have passed. how extraordinary it is. So when we look at that, we have to question the concept of time itself. Sorry. Yes. Did
No, it's
someone-
just a dog.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. When we use words regarding time, there are a couple of really choice phrases, and I wrote some of them down. Maybe you can respond as well with some that you know. Running out of time, in the nick of time, time flies, time waits for no one, a stitch in time, or if you are time poor, or you are short on time, or time is precious, we are lost in time, something is timeless. Yes, yes. What is that? I can't read my own writing. Living on borrowed time, time restrictions, time lapse, and finally, time is a gift. When we look at what Emmanuel has written, there is a certain sense of urgency about time itself. Even when he places at the bottom, he says, do what you can do before you run out of time. And this is an extraordinary thing. And yes, he recommends that we use our time wisely, but there is a sense of don't waste it while you have the opportunity. So there is this sense of control that time has on our psyche, on our ego. There is almost a panic when we look at time, when we look how quickly time has passed, and we go, oh my God, Di, you said it. I'm on the downward turn now. Yes, my time is almost half done. This is a very interesting moment because we now look at time versus eternity. Eternity, in response to time, is without end. And yet we here on earth regard our time as limited. And yet time itself is not tangible. It is set. It is what can I say? It is a modality, what is it? A structure that we use to control or to manipulate our activities. But in itself, the experience of time is without calculability. We cannot fathom how time passes because in our experience, in our egoic and spiritual experience of what time is, it actually is an illusion. And so often we hear that. We hear time is an illusion. But do we understand this? This is an important moment because we need to be aware that time itself is free to embrace in our earthly experience as a way in which to utilize and to negotiate our way. But our use of time, what we actually do in this period, is for each of us to manifest in our own way. We are given the freedom to create our own lives. the freedom of choice, the freedom to act and to speak, to calculate, to do what we need to do in the way in which we choose, with the amount of, yes, experiences that we choose to engage with. And when we look at eternity, how does this factor into the equation? We are told in the Spirit's book, the Book of Spirits, by A Course in Miracles, in A Conversations with God, in many, many texts, that time is the illusion, because all that is eternity. And in eternity, we are much more aware of our spiritual progress, because we are not engaging on an egoic level, which time actually is. Time is calculated and utilized and enacted by how we see ourselves, not in the present, but how we see ourselves from the past, and how we project ourselves in the future. And this dictates how we act. Often, because of what we have experienced and what we think is to come, we act out of fear, or we act out of guilt, or we act out of a sense of blame. And this is the ego saying, we are separated. We are separated from eternity. Eternity is forever, united in oneness with the Creator. This is the, yes, this is the amazing, the dichotomy that exists between time, the difference that exists between our conscious understanding of what time is and what eternity is. Yes. If we consider that this lifetime is about healing, it is about coming to an understanding of who we are as spiritual beings while we are on this plane. If this is about healing, we cannot heal from using the past as a yardstick. And we cannot heal if we look into the future. We can only find our oneness and our creativity and our sense of connectedness in love with all things if we are in the now. And in the now means that we leave our past behind. Say, for example, we are having a discussion with our mom or dad. They have said things in the past. It affects the energy in which we are connecting. We can't let certain things go. There is no oneness, there is no spiritual connection, because we are sitting in separateness. We are sitting in the egoic self that holds everyone to ransom. We are holding everybody account because of how we have connected with them in the past. So the ego drags into the present, the past, not allowing us to actually engage in the present. Often it is a sense of guilt that we carry with us. Maybe it is a sense of guilt about how we haven't done enough for that particular person. And so we carry that with us. The energy in which we communicate is tainted because we cannot be free to embrace in love, in unity, in the divine sense of connection with that person or with that situation. And because of how we connected in that moment, we carry that into the future. So the egoic self drags the past and jumps over the present because we never experienced the present. We jumped over the present and we forge into the future with that same energy that doesn't let it go. So the time that we were given opportunity to connect with another or to experience something is missed. That divine and beautiful connection that we were given opportunity to experience for them and for us is dissolved in pain and continued suffering because we have decided not to let it go, die. Yes. Yes. Is Di gone? Yes. Di has gone. She has left the building. So this is an important part of how we look at time.
Sorry, I went to the toilet. I
Wow.
need to. When nature's call, nature's call.
All is well. You can play it back, Di. We mentioned you.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, you missed it. Your ears must have been burning. Yeah. But just as we are now, in this moment, we are engaging not in a text that I pre-prepared, because I wanted to sit in this moment to share with you in the energy of what is now. The now is sacred and it connects us. And this is the clinching point. It connects us to our eternal self. And this is the difference between time and eternity. Time is segments that can be scrambled or stretched or however it is when we experience something that is comfortable or uncomfortable, intriguing, exaggerated, hurtful or painful. Time can be skewed, but eternity can never be. Because eternity, when this life is said and done, we sit in eternal light. We are connected to our divine self without the, as said before, the distractions. Yes, Angela, you aptly said that. The distractions that are so apparent in our everyday these days, but have always been. Our egoic self wants the distractions because it wants to establish our separateness as a reason for us not wanting to experience our divine self. We want to do it ourselves. We want to experience it the way we want to. And we shut out our divine connection. It is not as if we don't or cannot experience life without or with our divine connection. Of course we can, because our divine connection is reflected in everything that we engage with. Every person we meet is a part of the divine self. And so our communication with them, if we are irritated by our egoic self based on our expectations, which are based on our past experiences, which is based on how we want to experience our life. And yet in this life, we are always looking for something to fill the gap, to fill the emptiness. There is something there that wants me to be better. There is something there that tells me I'm not pretty enough. There is something there that tells me I don't have enough. But this absence that we are experiencing is an absence of our connection to our divine self, to our eternal self. Yes. Yes. Would somebody like to comment so far? Yes. So in A Course in Miracles, we are told that the purpose of time is to give us time to discover the beauty of the creation itself and to be at peace with our creation, with how we discover our own divinity in this life. This is the purpose of the experience of time. And so, as Emmanuel says, we do things and we seem to find ourselves going over and over different experiences. We meet the same kind of people that anger us, or we seem not to be able to get out of the rut, and the same things seem to be happening to us. We keep meeting the same kind of people or in the same kind of relationships. This is time, the Holy Spirit, God, revealing to us that there are possibilities for us to switch our way of thinking, for us to embrace the time, the experience, and to see what lies beneath it, beneath the ego. Yes. There is much that can be discussed in this whole chapter of time and eternity. I didn't do a slide presentation, but I did sit with the information and sit in a sense of reflection. For in the reflection of what we were exposing ourselves to, the reflection was this sense of truth that cannot be denied. That there is no greater activity that we can be engaged in than being content with what we are doing and who we are doing it with. Whether it is in prayer, to be totally engaged in that moment and to discover that we are not alone and those that are in spirit are present always, and that we are uplifted by their energy, uplifted by their connectedness with us and to us. If we are doing something as mundane as washing up, there is a contentment that we can experience in this time. It can fly so beautifully if we acknowledge and honor the process of washing up. Being in this lifetime, doing the dishes, being what we need to be at this moment in time and not preoccupying ourselves with what needs to be done next, because we have missed that moment of connectedness to this experience and appreciation and gratitude for what is at this moment. And it is so when we are driving to work, to not get frustrated by what we need to be doing and we need to get there faster, to release that need because time is ticking, to release the pressure because the opportunity has been given and gifted to us to experience that moment and reflect in joy and gratitude and with awareness of everything that is around us that has been gifted us in this moment in time. We are so fractured in our minds, in our ego. We see ourselves as needing to complete, needing to push, needing to set things straight, needing to meet our expectations and needing to meet the expectations of others. And we are consumed by the itinerary, by time itself. And we consider it to be finite, to be limited, and yet we live in eternity. The soul lives in eternity. Our experiences are limitless. But it may be not what we want, the ego says. I want to complete this. I want to get this done. I need, because this is how we have done it in the past. This is what is expected. I live in fear for what is to come, and so I am pushed and unable to commit to enjoying, embracing, and bringing the joy of God into each moment. Yes. It is an extraordinary moment when we can say, time is not my enemy. Time is immaterial. Eternity is all that counts, because in eternity, God asks of us to join with the collective. Because it is only in that sense of connectedness that we can sit with compassion, true compassion, without looking at our clocks, looking at our watches. We are committed to listening and being with that person, that moment, that conversation, that interaction. And we sit and we allow that communion to be blessed, to commit to that union with your hands in the sink, to be blessed, to commit to whatever it is you are doing, your thoughts, to commit to eternity in union with God, in union with the collective light of all that has been, to sit in joy and to embrace it. And this takes practice. For it is almost impossible, you say, to live like this because we can't be daydreamers. But it isn't about daydreaming. It is about how we see life. Life as gifts in those around us. In the news that we see, that is so distracting and so hurtful, and we see harm done to others. To see it all around us, but to see our connectedness and our need to sit in love. not to sit in pain. It is for us not to believe that we are here to experience pain. If you believe it, then we will experience it. And those around you will experience it as well. We are given opportunity to see the gift in each moment. If we consider it time, then look at it as time. But see it in the context of eternity, in the collective light of our connection with all that is. And this is the atonement. The atonement is how we reconnect to God and how we dissolve our pain, how we acknowledge all that has been and let it go, because we are not held accountable for the pain and suffering, but we are held accountable for how we deal with that suffering. And the way in which we deal with that suffering and pain is to forgive it, to release the past for however we saw ourselves in the past. I was no good at that. I was a horrible child. I was nasty. And they did horrible things to me, and they are nasty too. I was never meant to be a mother. I was never meant to be these things. And so we trash upon ourselves time after time after time, because we sit in this place of egoic connection which judges everything and anyone around us. And in that, we disassociate ourselves with our divine being and God's creation, which is magnificent. How can God be magnificent with this great creation, and yet we be rubbish? And they're rubbish, and the world is rubbish. Yes. How extraordinary how we tell ourselves these things. We tell ourselves, and yet we believe that God is great and God is good and He is perfect, and He has a perfect creation. And yet we are separate from it because we do not embrace eternal life. And in Spiritism, we often sit with this idea that yes, we won't get it all now, so we can put it off to the next time. Oh, well, that's okay. We are meant to do that. But this discounts the opportunity of here and now. Here and now to embrace our eternity. And our eternity, and this is what Jesus tells us right at the end, He will be coming soon, because everyone, no one is left behind. No one is left behind. But the second coming will be when we all sit in that place of embracing who we are. For now, the steps are simple. To forgive the past, not just let it go, but forgive it. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Forgive them, forgive yourself for thinking that anything but that was perfect. Everything in your past was perfect. It allowed you to experience much. But there is no place for the pain and the suffering to continue, for we are meant to embrace our divine self. This is what life is about, to give us time to work it out. The Holy Spirit will continue to test us. to give us the experiences over and over again until we see the light that shines in and around all things, including ourselves, and we embrace our creation. We embrace everything that we are. And in so doing, we sit in gratitude for the time that has been. Yes. But to sit in this moment, we thank time for all that is shown us. But in this moment, and for as many moments as we can in the future, to embrace our eternity, because our eternity is embracing our divinity. Yes. 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 Are there any comments? Yes. There is so much for us to experience in this life. So much. But so little of the experiences we will have will be in awe, will be in joy, will be pain-free if we do not experience it right there and then, being totally in the present and joining and communing with the energy that is being shared with us. And this I do impress. Embrace this moment, leaving your past behind. Your ego will say to you, you need to embrace the past because it's taught you a lot. It gives you everything. And while your mind is ticking away, you have missed this moment. You have missed it because you've dragged the past into the present, saying, I need that information. I need my knowledge. I need it. But do you? Do we? Those moments that we cherish, where we sit in silence with our loved ones, where no words can express. These are expressions of deep connection in love. We do not wish to be anywhere else. We do not want to control the conversation. We do not need to manipulate or to steer someone else's thinking. We sit in our eternity, in our space of divine light with that other. We embrace them right now and allow for what needs to come through with respect and love, without any manipulation of time or feelings, past, present, or future. Yes. I thank you always. Dear brothers and sisters, I have loved this time with you. Yes.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, time is something very sometimes hard to grasp, I guess. As you put on the beginning, like sometimes when I'm enjoying too much, seems like flies by. And when it's like, a really hard situation or boring situation, something that you really not enjoy yourself, seems like it drags along. But yeah, I get what you said. I did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to add something before Colleen could finalize the night with a prayer or whatever she had prepared for us?
I think one thing is interesting that you said was like the FOMO, the fear of missing out, and you end up trying to do everything, but you do everything like only half-hearted. So yeah, that's something that's very dangerous and we have to be aware of.
Yes, we pride ourselves, don't we, on multitasking. And it is for people to be proud of. We say, yes, I can multitask. I'm a woman. I can multitask. But yes, are we present in any of the tasks that we are completing? Are we engaging in that moment and bringing the best out, allowing for the acknowledgement of the fact that we can actually do those tasks? I know Thich Nhat Hanh, the spiritual leader, yes, he spoke so beautifully and how profound when he said, walk, step, and in each moment, breathe with each step. Acknowledge the importance of each step that you take. Not in a metaphoric way, but even as we are walking. For me, I cannot walk. And it is a gift, may I say, for each of you to be able to tread the ground, to feel its impact on your feet and the energy that wells up from the earth itself. It is a gift. And yet I see, for me, I roll across the earth to facilitate me getting to a place on time. But we run, we trample the ground, we miss the energy and that which can be taught from our treading the earth. Yes, the humility and the love, that which has nurtured our life thus far, is the earth itself. Just treading the earth. But we need to be on our phones and we need to be talking or gesturing and drinking a cup of coffee at the same time. Yes, yes, so clever, but so disconnected. I will stop talking now, Di. Yes.
No, it's not up to you. Not up to you. It's just me.
I think
Yes.
that's one great thing that we do, like that we go camping by ourselves, and we just sit there and enjoy the moment. So
Yes.
you can be in the moment and just doing that, not multitasking. So that's great.
And it can be done in our everyday. It can be done.
It is very hard because there are a lot of distractions. But
yes, yes. But it is our choice. We are given the opportunity to create our lives. And if we want to create a life of mayhem and busyness and and mayhem again, yes, then so be it. But there will come a time, and this is what Emmanuel is saying, at the end of our days. But who knows when that will be, because tomorrow you may be gone. But at the end of our days, we can. And we actually see the folly that was when we railroaded everything, trying to do everything. Yes, it doesn't need to be this way. Yes, for what is the purpose of life itself? To get through life? Is that the purpose? We are reminded that the purpose of life is to experience until we understand our divine light and that love is in all things and that love is kind and gentle and compassionate and does not count and does not sit in guilt or guilty pleasures. Yes, yes, yes.
Thanks, Doreen.
Thank you. So, yeah, with that, if you are not too sure you prepare, if it's just a prayer to finish, to close the night, then
Just a prayer.
Next.
Brilliant. And I thank you for your patience. As,
dinner time.
yes. Thank you. So let us close our eyes. Breathing gently. Acknowledging the spirit of life as we breathe in the air that gives us life. Ruha. Heavenly Creator. Christ Jesus. All our guides, the benefactors, Pedro Emmanuel, the angels and saints that have guided us thus far and uplifting us in this moment. We breathe in deeply the energy of your presence. We embrace all those that have come from afar. This is a moment of divine connection, and we thank you. We sit in gratitude for all that has been, for all that has been experienced, to bring us to this point where we are connecting in the now. We thank you for your guidance, the messages that we have received, the texts that have illuminated our hearts and our minds and shifted something that is within us that enables us to be more conscious of our experience here on earth. We sit in gratitude for the beautiful life that we have been gifted. We sit in gratitude for the lives of those who we share this life with. We sit in gratitude for those whose lives that we see from afar and who teach us much just by their presence. We ask, Heavenly Creator, for us to be nurtured in the realms of forgiveness. It is difficult for us to release the pain that we feel that we are not enough, that we are not clever or experienced, that we do not have wisdom enough to be deserving of being counted amongst those in divine realms. Help us to forgive ourselves. Help us to forgive our earlier self, the self of the past that stumbled and that fell. Help us to forgive and to embrace and to lift them up. And to hug them and say, we are enough. We have been enough. We were never short. We were never ill-advised. We were never wrong. We forgive and commit to this ongoing process until we see life as deserving, to see life, all of life, as worthy, to see all of life as it needs to be, illuminated in love. And so, in the collective light that we share with all of you, in all realms, everywhere, from time immemorial, we uplift and count ourselves as a part of this collective. We embrace this moment and shower down upon the earth love, charity, kindness, compassion. And we uplift the earth to rise above their pain and suffering. We uplift the earth so that it reveals itself to itself. We thank you always for allowing the illumined light to pour down upon us as well, pouring down through our crown chakra, healing our bodies because we long to be healed, because we embrace the healing process, and we bless and allow our bodies to be blessed, receiving the energy of light and love, not just in this moment, for all that is to come, resonating with a vibration of eternity, of love eternal. We thank you, Divine Master. We thank you all. So be it. Yes.
Sweet. Thank you, Colleen. I hope you enjoy your travels and enjoy the time you're having